everybody, it's Chelsea Face again. I hope you're doing well. Let's get into this video. Today's video is gonna be, I can't quite decide on a title yet. I guess you'll see it in the thumbnail and in the description and all that. But it's gonna be essentially just a recommendation video for parents slash younger manga readers, or people who are on the younger side wanting to get into manga, or parents who are wanting to find series that are more age appropriate for their kids, whether that be boys or girls or anyone in between. I just wanted to give some recommendations from my point of view of someone who has read or watched these series or knows enough about them that I feel confident enough to recommend them to you. Of course, I want to give a disclaimer in this video. I am not the authority on rating. Please, 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 as a parent, do your own research. I am of the belief that a parent is responsible for the content that their child consumes. I don't believe in this pointing fingers and blaming anyone who makes content or who posts things in the genre that you think your kids can watch and then you get mad at them. That's just who I am. If you want to watch this video and take it to heart, I appreciate that, but if you just want to take this with a grain of salt, that's okay as well. I won't be offended. I will try to tell you any trigger warnings or anything I think that might be questionable or concerning content for your child if it's in this stuff. But otherwise, please be responsible. Of course, you're an adult. You should be able to know if this is appropriate for your child, or be able to Google it, look it up online, and see what you can find. I am not the end-all be-all authority on this. Let's just get into the recommendations. These are not going to be in any particular order. I kind of just made a list and then chose the ones that I think were the most interesting to talk about. A lot of this is shoujo, because I do read a lot of romance and shoujo and young girl themed presented to content. But I do have a couple of things that some of the guys might like, and plus guys should read more shoujo, honestly. I was talking to some friends about this the other day, and not enough men are reading shoujo, not enough young boys are reading shoujo, and that is a travesty. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is anything written by Arina Tanemura. Now, I have not read this woman's entire book, like her whole set of books, but I have read quite a few of them, and I pulled a few off of my shelves that I love particularly. Full Moon Osagashite, or however you say this, I still do not know. I just call it Full Moon. This is like an 7 or 8 volume series. It's a little harder to find than it used to be, but it's still probably my favorite thing that I've ever read by this creator. This is a story about a young girl about middle school age who has throat cancer, and she is obviously dying, but it's not like heavily pushing on that necessarily as much as her dreams to become a famous singer. And her doctor, who they're very, very close and he cares for her, is concerned that she will die or not live a very fulfilling life if she does not get a surgery that will fix her throat and help her live longer and keep her voice. And she's really concerned that if she gets this surgery, she'll no longer be able to sing. She's concerned that if she doesn't get the surgery, she will die younger. So it is very dark. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a more serious story. There is talks of yourself in this. The anime is a lot more kid friendly if you would rather watch that. It covers a lot of the manga. Honestly, it is a really good adaptation. The manga gets a little darker. There's a couple of characters who they very clearly had themselves, and it doesn't really show it or describe it in full, but it does tell you that they did do that because of how terrible their life was. So if you're going to show this to your child, please look at the content warnings on the back. Please read about those situations if it's something that concerns you, or just tell your child and have a conversation with them about the seriousness of that kind of decision. These people do turn into magical creatures after they do that. So, you know, make sure that your child is able to differentiate between fiction and reality, because I don't think it like glamorizes that after you've done that. But it is still a very deep, dark, sad, loving, beautiful story. And I think that it holds a lot of merit when I was that age reading this, because I was very young. It's always going to hold a special place in my heart. So I feel like anyone who is of that age, it just says rated teen, would really enjoy this. It's beautiful. The artwork, her artwork is absolutely stunning. Like, if I can just find, like, here's just a regular page And each story has a very similar art style because that's just her signature art style, but they're all a little different in the character designs, and I just absolutely love this series. Also by Irina Tanimura, she does a lot of one-shots, so I have Ion or I-O-N and Mistress Fortune. These are both one single volume series that she's done. There's several others. These are very magical. This one's more magical boy, magical girl situation, and these two characters fall in love. It's very cute, very simple. This one's more about a girl who has like good luck when she chants her name, so it's magical as well. They're both rated teen as well, so there might be a little bit darkness theme to these, but overall I still highly recommend pretty much anything I have read by Irina Tanimura. There's also some Disney stuff. I think she's done a Frozen manga. I've never had anything I've read by her be questionable or really naughty, gross or anything. So I think she's a safe bet, especially for young girls who love magical girls and who love a little bit of darkness in their romance. It's really, really good. Next up is a recommendation for the boys or anyone who loves shonen. Girls, boys, it doesn't matter, y'all. I just like to give it the demographic recommendation as well. But this is Black Clover. As with any shonen and pretty much any manga that is made for men, boys, anything like that, is gonna have some questionable moments or some cleavage or some panty shots. It's just what they do. You kind of get numb to it as a manga, anime, comic reader because you're so used to it. It doesn't happen nearly as often in shoujo, so that's why I wanted to mention it. I remember a couple of scenes in the anime where, yes, there were some questionable moments. I have never read the manga. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But as someone who has watched almost the entire anime series, I think this is appropriate for that age group and someone who is new getting into anime and manga, just because it is kind of the quintessential, has a little bit of everything that you get within a shonen series. It's going to have action, it's going to have comedy, it's going to have a loud protagonist who some people love, some people can't stand him. I'm kind of in the middle there. It's not my favorite series, but I think if you're a newbie, you will enjoy it. And if you're young, I think you'll enjoy it even more. It's got a lot of magic. It's got wizards and witches and things like that. So I do recommend this one for that age group only because I do not remember it having like super dark themes. There's like a overall arching theme of betrayal that had to do with a group of people being genocided. Like that is legitimately a thing that happens in here. But it's not so graphic that a child couldn't watch it and be okay mentally, I don't think. But it is in here. So that's like the whole theme of the series, is getting back at this group of people who did that. Just be aware of that, but it does have a ton of friendship stories, a ton of self-growth, and personal growth so that you can, you know, really feel like you're growing with these characters. And I think that that's a good thing. And every series that I recommend in this is going to have something dark to it. That's just because these have drama in them and they're going to have conflict. And sometimes the conflict's a little darker than you might like to think about. That's just reality though. And I have to point that out though whenever I'm recommending these to younger people. Number 3 is going to be DN Angel. This is a series that I unhauled years ago because I honestly loved it back in the day when I was young. I was obsessed with the anime. I was obsessed with the manga. I read it front and back over and over. I watched the anime over and over, and now I can't watch it because I just don't enjoy it the same way. I don't think it held up for my age group, but I do think that younger people would still enjoy this. This one is a little bit more suggestive. I wouldn't say raunchy, but there was a thief. There's a guy who steals things and he is like elevated. So he is like looked up to and like the good guy. He does have a good reason for stealing things. So if you finish the series, you'll understand the context. Felt like a series when I was that age that was really complicated, and I felt smarter watching it and reading it. So it might challenge your child to think a little deeper on philosophy and the reasons behind people making bad decisions, and understanding that sometimes there's gray areas in morality. So I think that this is a good series for someone that age. That being said, there's dumb girls. There's girls who have nothing going on for them, no brains, nothing. They're just like the love interest. So it's not the best from women point of view, but I still really enjoyed it, and I do recommend it as part of this series. My next recommendation is going to be A Tropical Fish Yearns for Snow. Some people classify this as a yuri. I read the whole thing, and honestly, I can't say for sure that I think it's a Yuri or not. Part of me is like, yeah, it's implied, and then part of me is like, you know, they could just be really close friends because they never like hold hands or kiss or do anything romantic, but they do really love each other, and I'm not sure what I would consider that. I don't know what this is labeled as on Viz's website or anything. I haven't looked into it, so feel free to do your own research on that. But it is fully appropriate. There's nothing sexually going on in here. There's nothing super dark going on in here. This is a very light, fluffy, soft, aquatic themed friendship or romance, I guess you could say. Either way, I don't care. I don't think anyone should have a problem with the amount of love that's going on in here. It's very safe. These two girls just meet through a aquatic club and they become really close, and it's just really sweet, the friendships they make within each other, within the aquarium club, within their other classmates. This girl here is really straight-laced and smart, and she struggles to open up and get to know people. People look up to her because she is so smart, and it kind of makes her unapproachable. So she learns to become open and softer and talk to people and learn more about their friends. This girl, she is a little more out there. She wants to make friends. She's kind of new to this school, and she becomes really drawn to this other character, and so that's just the blossoming of their friendship. It's a beautiful story. It's very short, so it's not gonna like cost you a ton to get into. It's only $9.99 per volume, at least when this came out. I'm not sure if they're doing reprints, but if they do, a lot of the volumes have gone up to $11.99, but you could probably find it used pretty cheaply. But I highly recommend this one for younger readers. Okay, and the last one on this list is one that I can't finish because I want to read it physically, and they have not reprinted a lot of these. Some of these they have, but I haven't caught up. That is My Love Story. This is another shoujo that is mostly from this guy's perspective. He's a bigger guy, which is not typical in manga, honestly. You don't really get a lot of that, so I really like how inclusive this can be. We've got the typical hot guy character, the cute girl, and then this bigger guy who is the main guy. This is his love story, so it's from his perspective and how he falls in love with this girl who's like really pretty and sweet, and then she falls in love with him, and they're just the perfect couple. So I only have one issue with this series, and that is that it's almost too perfectly sweet. Like the characters are just too perfect together and there's no conflict. They do throw in a couple of the tropes of like, oh, a girl comes into the scene, is she gonna take him from me? But it's like really not gonna happen. So I don't think that you're gonna come into an unsafe manga series with this one. Granted, I have not read past volume 5. Sometimes a shoujo series will surprise me and throw in a smexy scene at the very end of a series, but I don't see that happening with this one. I'll be honest with you, you should look into it. I think you can read this one digitally in places because it is a shoujo beat. I think the Viz app will have this one. So if you're concerned about that, please do your own research. I am not the end all be all here, but I don't get that vibe. I still recommend this one. It is only rated T for teen, so I feel like that is appropriate for that age group. You, of course, are the determining factor for your child or yourself's reading. I simply just want more people to read manga. That is the main reason why I recommend manga to people. And anytime I go to Barnes & Noble, it's almost every time I go now because so many people are reading it, especially in my area. A parent is with their child or their grandchild and they ask me for recommendations, or they ask me, is this series appropriate? And I never expected that to happen because the manga section used to be at Ghost Town, but now it's more common to read. And I always try to be really honest with the parent because I do teach children on certain days of the week and I understand their concerns. I don't have a child, but I do work with a lot of kids at camps and within my husband's karate class, so I do understand the concerns that parents have, and I try to be honest and to say what the worst thing that could happen in this series might be if I'm familiar with it, or if I know that there are some suggestive themes. I will warn them and say most kids are totally fine with this. It is a very popular series for this age group, but A, B, and C is in this series, so you should be aware of that if you are someone who is truly concerned. A ton of parents do not care what their kids consume, and if you think your child's mature enough to handle that, my mom did not care what I consumed to a certain point, and so I grew up the way I grew up, and I feel like I'm perfectly fine. But some kids might be super sensitive to certain things and get really scared or get really mentally disturbed by certain things. So just be sure that you are aware of what your child can handle and what you are comfortable with letting them read. If you are concerned about something, all you have to do is take your phone, go to goodreads.com, and scan this barcode, look at the ratings, look at the reviews, and just see what people are saying about the series. If they post a bunch of eggplant emojis or open mouth sweating emojis, or like say that it's really explicit, that might not be for your kid. But overall, ratings are still there, just like they are in a movie or a video game. So please pay attention to those. A lot of people forget to look at ratings on books for some reason, and regular books don't have ratings. So I've never understood how that's a thing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you will recommend some of these manga series to a younger person in your life that you know can handle these subject matters. There's a ton of manga out there for younger readers that I did not even touch. I just wanted to give you a few options, and if you're interested in another video like this, I could totally do that. I could even get more specific into either genres or demographics or themes. If you're interested in something like that, just let me know in the comments below. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more manga content or bookish content. I do talk about regular books here also on my channel. But thank you. I do appreciate you guys. Y'all have been extremely kind in my comment section and in the community tab. So I do appreciate y'all being here. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sorry I missed a week or two posting because I've just been really sick. I'm still getting over some of it. But y'all have been great. So thank you so much. And I hope that I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.